Hear ye, the proclamation of the TNIL party for the 2020 election in New Zealand. Founded by Jar Mason, 2018. Email jixak6@gmail.com. And that's my fucking phone number as well. There's the policy concepts. And on the other side, hold on. Now, after this way of civilization has been completed, because the qualification of the great adversary of the human spirit is made known, and true function and culture of anxiety is now made visible. Anxiety. First law of anxiety, you must conceal your anxieties. Second law of anxieties, you must allow all others to conceal their anxieties. Third law of anxiety, you must allow when someone wants to ignore. Fourth law of anxiety, you must accept without question the dishonesty that is caused by the first three laws. Fifth law of anxiety, you must acquiesce to they that are expressing the most anxiety. Sixth law of anxiety, you must always express loyalty to the laws of anxiety. Seventh law of anxiety, you must disrupt and maintain an ongoing disruption to they that seek to challenge the laws of anxiety. Eighth law of anxiety, you must always promote anxiety as virtuous. Anxiety, the political entity comprised of 8 laws, contingent with multiple overlapping anti-tamper measures, is culture shocked into existence by the event of birth. Now, figuratively, anxiety may be held in one's hand and examined for its function and mechanism. YouTube. First YouTube, God so loved the world he put Satan here. Then Theory of Relativity 2.0. So that was what I took to Wellington in my little trip. Yes, and I went handing it around. I went to, yes, the railway station. There's a report on my Facebook page actually if you want. If you go look there. With a picture of those two. And yeah, I went to the first I went to the railway station because I think that's a good place. That was the first good place because I got there the evening before, just pulled the pin and got a room at the Backpackers, and that was pretty cool. I'd stayed there before. Lodge in the city in Wellington. It's a good place to stay. Lots of people, man, like tourists, like, whoa. So yeah, in the morning, went out and I got the printing done. And that was quite good. And so then I was walking out of there and I went down the street and I thought, I looked at this it's a tiny little weeny little cafe, little place. Not a cafe even, it was just like a bakery. A little wee small bakery. And oh yeah, well, you know, I might as well have some breakfast, and since it's going to be such a big day and all that. And so I went in there and I told them about it. And they're pretty freaked out, man. One guy didn't say too much other than after I started telling him about it that he was all right now, but wait, once upon a time he had a huge problem with anxiety actually, and I suspect the other chap who listened to the spiel I was making, and he was well. I think by the time I'd said the first couple of things, he's like, you know what is? It's like, yeah, he was a bit overwhelmed, and that's to be expected. That is to be expected. And so I got my coffee and my yummy little bread roll thing, and bacon and cheese croissant or something of that nature. And I left and I saw this guy in a truck, and I said to him, "Hey man, I've got this thing here, new political party, and you should have a look at it." And you know, you could tell how he was looking at it, that actually he's actually been interested in this quite a lot. You know, the new political party thing. So even though he was only, like, he may have been 25, something, 27 or something like that, he was actually quite interested in it. I think at a base level, he quite liked it, and so yeah, that was him. So I got in the car and I peeled out. I finished this breakfast, you know, and then went down the railway station, and there's like I was standing around, because it's a bit of a shock to the system, man, going from being just a normal person to getting all public like that and handing out stuff for a political party, and that you're starting. Imagine if you did that. How would you feel? It's like, it's a bit different to singing on stage, which I've done. I've been a singer in 2 bands, and it's quite something to extend yourself out like that. It's quite something. But I have good purpose to be doing this. I have the mandate. I have the mandate from the universe, man. The engine of the universe has tasked me with bringing this message, and I've got no fear of doing this. I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, one of these chaps, man, there's a couple of, you know, you can see the people that are receptive to consciousness, they are the ones that step up, man. Like, first guy, he looked like a traveller, but I don't think he was. I think he was a Kiwi. And he was saying, oh, you know, he was interested to hear about a new political party, because that's how I was approaching people. But when the subject got to anxiety, the reason of the political party, he definitely had a story about it, you know, and so we talked for about 10 minutes, because, you know, because consciousness loves meeting consciousness, you know what I mean? And just a meeting like that in the course of a day or a week, that can be a very memorable moment because of its rarity, actually. And that's one of the sidelines of the message of the revelation of the 8 laws, is to create that rally point so these types can come out of the woodwork, and in the end they will be the political credibility, actually, because as I have proved, anxiety is actually a form of dementia. And I've got this other video I'm going to make, because I saw this program on the TV today, the Q&A political program on Channel 1, TVNZ1. It comes on a Sunday, which is today is the 22nd. It came on today. It was published, and it'll be on 11:30 p.m. It is 2:54 p.m. now. And the Minister of Energy Resources came on, because there's a new Labour government, and yeah. And so anyway, I'm going to do a video on that interview, because it was rife with evidences of that people believe the truth that is the truth according to the lie. I saw multiple issues with that interview, man. Anyway, so yeah, I was handing them out, and there was this young chick there. You know, she had all these. She was dressed like she'd been painting actually, or using some kind of glue, or I think it was paint of some description, some kind of sealant, and she was like only about 20 or something. And I gave it to her, and bit of a speech in there, and I think she said that she didn't have time because she was catching the train. You know, anyone who says they don't have time, it's because they think anxiety is virtuous. Okay, otherwise they'd value a high quality interaction. You know, is what I'm saying, man. And then another guy, he was sitting there. He was rolling a smoke, this young Maori, and I says, "Oh, bro, man, I got this thing I want to show you. It's a new political party starting up, and all this, you know, and they gave him the rundown of the 8 laws, how the 8 laws was on the back, and I think he was immediately fucking caught by it, really, because Maori are they're legendary, man, for biting into anxiety really hard and going with it, man, running with it, which is why half the prison population is Maori. Okay, it's because they all believe really heavily that anxiety is virtuous, and they do things that people that believe that do, which is they don't value relationships, they don't value education, and they value conflict. They value prevailing over other people, which are all characteristics of the political nature of anxiety. And so he said he'd show his mum. And that's just fantastic, man. Because that's a big fucking thing in marriedom. How people's relationships and why are they so upset with each other so easily, right? And so these fellas, man, the young fella there and his mum probably don't talk to people about what they want to talk about because they have to suffer the Stockholm syndrome to actually get along with their own family, right? And this is the mad place the world is, okay? So many people, you know, Maori, yes, but everyone, man, you know, everyone, man, Pākehā, Maori, everyone, man. Oh. And so anyway, that was great, and a couple other people, and so after about an hour of that, you know, which was amazing to me because it was the first time I'd ever done it, went up Featherston Street, which is kind of the main drag through the CBD of Wellington, and just started touting new political party, hear ye, the new political party. And so it was a matter of inviting people to have a look, and there were quite a few that did, you know, and it was a bad time really because it was Monday morning at 11 a.m. and everyone's keyed in. You know, for one thing, that's the beginning of the week, you know, and so it could have been a much better response doing it on a Friday like I wanted to go up on Friday, but the cost of it was going to be too much, so I chose the Sunday, come up Tuesday, and but I got a pretty good reception, I think, and one man of note was from Te Puni Kōkiri, which is a kind of an NGO that supports Maori affairs, and I think he would have took that away, and that would have been great news to him. He would see the logic of it, and anyway, so I had to talk to him, and I ran through the spiel a bit, and so that was a great success that he got it, and someone else, another young fella, he was in his 20s, and he was holding a Radio New Zealand microphone. Radio New Zealand is the government-sponsored radio station, and And I told him the whole lot of it, you know, because he's like, here he is, right? He's starting out, you know, he's probably, well, considering how long people work for such institutions, he's just starting out. And I think this will do him very, very well going into the future to just to be aware that this is actually what's going on. And then, you know, he might well have the presence of mind to come and do an interview about it, like for his radio thing. And so that was pretty amazing talking to him. Like he was actually holding, it was a microphone with the Radio New Zealand thing around it, RNZ it had on it, and that's Radio New Zealand. And yeah, an old lady, she stopped and, oh, I don't have any money to give you, she said. I don't have any money. And I said, look, I don't want money at the moment, but I would like you to be aware of a new political party. And so she said, yep, and so I folded it up for her, you know, so she could look at it later, you know, and that's quite interesting. You know, considering I just got rung up about this job on the way back from Wellington, about a driving job, and he said in his text that I'd sent him my CV 2 months ago. You know, considering that's the state of communication in New Zealand, it took him 2 months for him to get a hold of me. It shows his stuff is seriously all over the show in New Zealand, man, I tell you what. And so I thought I'd done pretty good there. There was 3 hours there, and I handed out all these flyers, man. There was quite a lot of them. I've still got a lot of them. I printed up 200, and I've still got a whole lot of them. But it was really significant that those ones went out, and so, I mean, like I was saying, if I was better resourced, and if you go to the video crowdfunding the battle for planet Earth, the premise, okay, you'll see an account number on there that's this crowdfunding account I've got. And but if you find my email there somewhere, you can find it there. Oh, it's on that pamphlet here that I showed. Yeah, you can email me, and you can organise being a member of the TNIL, and it doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter what country you're in, because I reckon that I'll do this here, and I reckon it can be done anywhere. Okay, and everyone will have to acquiesce to it because it's the truth. It's the truth, and for the same reason, anxiety has got such a hold on people and civilization. For that very same vehicle, we'll see that this becomes the law. For the very same vehicle, right? And yeah, anyway, yeah, I spent some time there, handed a few more out. You know, there's one guy from the top party that's just started up last year. The Opportunities Party, they're calling it, and he's sitting on this thing there because they're sitting there, right? And I'm thinking, I'll just peel over and invite them to have a look at this pamphlet, right? And he's really quite pissed off, and he was upset I interrupted him or something, and I started thinking, you know. For some reason, he told me he was on the top party, and he was very disgruntled. He was very disgruntled. Now, I haven't Googled it up and seen who he is or anything like that. But I tell you, it's a bit of a miraculous thing, eh? See, these other small parties in New Zealand, right, they're too narrowly focused. Like the top party, it's not a comprehensive approach they've got. Okay? And so yeah, it's like the ACT party. The ACT party it's kind of a bloody joke, man. I mean, they don't seem to, you know what? They're just a vehicle in this, because we got this MMP thing, which Adolf Hitler invented, to where someone gets the most votes in the election, right? Now, if all the other parties put together are more than that, well, then they can be the government. And that's a shocker, man, I'll tell you what. So anyway, National One, which is like the Republican Party type thing, who are about helping business, actually. And there is actually great merit to looking after business. That's a great... I mean, it's a very, very significant part of the country is the quality of life of people, and with a job people can have, you know, an income and it feels good to work type thing. And so looking after business is actually a good idea. And so see, my approach is much more holistic than that, and I think that's really the only way. That's the only way we're going to be able to deal with the population explosion in the West, as has been invited by previous governments. Where 70,000 people a year are coming to New Zealand. Now, with a population of 4.5 million, there's 100,000 cars a year more than last year on the road, right? Now, that's a whole lot of cars, man. And so, why? So I think that it's not about being in the interests of the community. It's in the interests of something that is not of the community, because that's madness, man. I mean, you think of the effect on not only the roads, you got all the social services, hospitals, the police, the courts, because the trickle down consequences of having such a high level of immigration is it'll push people's frustrations out a little bit more, and it alters the labour market quite significantly, and people are going to get frustrated, and so that was great. So I left that then, and at about 1 o'clock, and I just, it was quite emotionally. It wasn't, there was an emotional tax. It was emotionally taxing doing that, being on the street, and it was quite something, man. I'll tell you what. Fucking camera doesn't do it. I'll tell you what. There you go. And so so I went back to the backpackers, and tell you how ended up I was for this fucking trip, man. I forgot my charger for my phone, and I forgot all these fucking things, man. It was fucking ridiculous. And so it was like quite wicked. So the next morning I was signing out. I was leaving the old backpackers, and I got all my stuff ready and made ready and paid my stuff, and I got my key deposit back, and I was up at 5 o'clock or something, and I watched this interview on RT channel, amongst a lot of different things. I flipped through all sorts of channels, and anyway, I left, and I was sitting in my car, and I was saying, what am I going to do, man? What? So I had the return ferry didn't come back till like, it was basically 4 hours away, right? 4 hours. Till you had to be there, because, an hour before sailing, you got to be there for boarding. And so what I did is I went to the Ministry of Education. Okay, the Ministry of Education. And I went in there, and I just wanted like 10 minutes to show them something that I developed, and I wanted to contribute. And so I was telling the desk staff about what was going on with it, and I didn't get into any of the detail of it. I just said that I had some contribution I wanted to make, and just needed 5 or 10 minutes to talk to someone to put them in the picture of it, and yeah. And so yeah, I was asked to wait, and I did, and I waited for a little while, and then someone came out, a lady, and a middle-aged lady, and so we adjourned to an office adjacent to the reception, and I told her about, well, firstly I said matters of the presupposition, which had to be put first, you know, and told her about the presupposition, these few things, like how the media going on about problems all the time is promoting anxiety as virtuous, when all the problems they're talking about have the genesis in an anxiety. That's a pattern of circular logic. Okay, and it's the instance of people believing that anxiety is virtuous. Well, kids follow that, and it is because children believe that anxiety is virtuous is why they do not value education. Okay, and so you can be as great a teacher in the world as you want. You're going to fail if the child believes that anxiety is virtuous. And I thought it was something to show her, because the system has created a situation where they've put the teachers in a bad light, because they go on about failing schools and failing kids, and then they've got the kids that they call the hopeless cases. They've started all these charter schools, which are schools specific to curriculum that is non-technical, I suppose, or it's more a generalised education or something. I don't know. And I said to her that, you know what, the fact is they've said the teachers are all being bad. You know, they this is what they've done to teaching in New Zealand, right? They have overloaded them with paperwork. They have this pay system which has messed about with their pay a lot. Okay? And then there's the headmasters have been told that if there was a kid that was seriously injured or died at the school, they'd be up for $250,000 fine or 5 years in jail. Okay, so this is very serious to me. This is really serious to me. And so the implication with the kids that aren't learning, that the teachers are at fault. And they're also priced a lot of teachers out of the market, the housing market. So in the big centres, it's very expensive for teachers to have accommodation in the big centres. And now these teachers have had several years investment in their education to become teachers. And so I feel a lot of empathy for these teachers. And I said to this lady at the Education Ministry that this proves, this document here, the revelation of the 8 laws. Right? Proves that the teachers have never been at fault. It is an aversion of listening in some kids that is at fault. Okay? It is the belief that anxiety is virtuous in some kids that is at fault. Because most kids are completely optimistic, right? They just love the future coming, man. They just want to just go out and grab it with all they got, man. And but some kids are really withdrawn and they're not interested. This isn't the teacher's fault, and that the media have been saying it's the teacher's fault. The teaching system is lacking somehow, and it's, you know, they're questioning it and they're restructuring stuff. And, you know, how about we just admit that some kids believe that anxiety is virtuous? Now, nobody's clicked to this, because a lot of adults believe that anxiety is virtuous, and I tell you, virtually everyone that works in a corporate environment believes that anxiety is virtuous. Now, As an individual, they may not, but in a group, they definitely would. Because they have to say something politically credible, right? And so I think she would have got, I would have bowled her over probably, that I'd restored her reputation as an educator and identified the actual problem of the matter with one document, right? With this one here, the revelation of the 8 laws. And so that's what happened. And so I left there on quite high spirits. Now I know this is an act of God because in the middle of central business district Wellington, every time I stopped I found a park for my car, which as I found was miraculous, man. Considering there's like, about 50,000 office staff work in that area, everywhere I wanted to stop there was a car park, like right outside the Ministry of Education, right outside the railway station, in the CBD where I got those printed and got my breakfast. Everywhere had a park right there. And so, particularly the Ministry of Education, I had to park, it was on the other side of the street, so I had to park facing the way I was going to leave. And I left there, and I had about an hour, I think. I went into Parliament, actually. I went into Parliament. That's my visa ticket to get out the automated door of Parliament. I went in there and they give you this to trigger the automated door to let you out. But that was a waste of time. There's no access to politicians nah. Now I know this is like, that is a good thing. There shouldn't be any access to politicians at all by members of the public just wandering off the street. It's just, nah. There's more formal channels must be achieved to do that. And that is as it should be, right? That is as it should be. I think I remember I went there first. I went to Parliament first, and I left there, and then I went to the Education Ministry, and because that's what this is all about, right? It's about education. It's about because the natural instinct for consciousness is to just be on the roll, man, of more education, man, just the whole way. Anything and everything, right? And so the real thing of it is, what's stopping that? Because it can't be helped, man. It can't be helped. That's the only thing consciousness knows how to do. It's the only thing it can do, is be creative and learn. That's all there is to it. That is the character of consciousness, to be creative and to learn. And so the only other thing going on is that there is an aversion to that. And so as we've discussed, and I have discussed, that it is the belief that anxiety is virtuous. That is the case. That is the way that is. And so I left the Ministry of Education on quite the high, because I've seen that, man, the teachers getting maligned, and these worst aspects of the human condition being empowered to where there's a lot of bullying. The kids are getting out of control in some schools, basically. And the teachers are completely hamstrung. They can't do anything about it. Because there's all this projected, politically correct, fake laws, okay, that are deemed of as real laws. And, like you can't discipline children anymore. This bit of that, it's probably something that's common in Europe and the US and that. Yeah, it's illegal to discipline children physically, but the political optics of that is, to the children, is that they can't stop us doing anything anymore. Okay, and on the parents' side and teachers' side, we can't stop them doing anything anymore. And so that has happened. That's an old one. That's like even 10 years ago they started that one. And so, and here, see, they haven't even been successful. The conspiracy of the political correctness thing, of how New Zealand society has been willfully attacked. Okay, yeah, they've failed, because New Zealand is still hugely cohesive. New Zealand, even though it's multicultural, okay, we actually all live in peace, rather, mostly, and so my TNIL party will seek to engage with that, and because I know that, you know, a good team does not need a boss. You know, in the working environment, you all might know that a good team doesn't need a boss, because everyone knows what they need to do, everyone knows the result that needs to happen, and everyone knows each other's jobs, and everyone can just rock it out, and it's a beautiful thing, man. And so New Zealand society is a bit like that. And so how does the government, how can the government achieve this theatrical thing of being in charge, and so under these circumstances, how can they give the impression that they are the authority when they do this, right? And that's the reason of a lot of these things, right? And so this thing's popped up on the screen. I really appreciate all the support I get. And so I like to kind of acknowledge it, you know. So here it is. Since my stupid other camera couldn't do it, and it still can't do it. Oh well. No, it just says, I saw your amazing comment about the 8 laws of anxiety. Hold on, I'll punch it up and see what it says. And that's my, holy shit, I've had views. See, I did this other video, as you may well know, I did this other video just this morning, and YouTube has borrowed support. 1 minute ago says, I saw your amazing comment about the 8 laws of anxiety. Amazing. It's really amazing, alright? So I'm pretty wrapped, I mean, nah, seriously people, man, you know, to produce this revelation, for just the unconditional love that people should do better, the like high quality goodwill to other people. I mean, so I'd not considered this, but the political optics of that I'm doing this is really what people are missing, you know. And so I said to the Ministry of Education lady, you know, they try to educate kids, and at the moment the system thinks that the teachers are in the wrong, and they tell the public that through the media, and the media just say whatever they're told to say. And that's where the problem of the education system is. It's in the teachers, man. It's in the system, and it's like all this people. Actually, this is completely backwards from the truth. The truth is, teenagers, right, young people, that's the only thing they can do, because they're still embracing consciousness as little people, young people. And the only thing that they can do is learn, because they don't have any other experience in their lives. There is only school, And so that's the only thing they know. And so the question is, what is stopping them doing that then? What is stopping them in their natural behaviour? What has gotten in the way of their natural instinct? And so that was the proof to the lovely lady at the Ministry of Education, this dedicated, long-standing professional nurturer, and so yeah, to point out this actually objectively, what actually is going on, this is huge, man. And I said to her, what you've seen the 8 laws there, right? What would happen if this was told to primary school kids? You know, what if young children were told this? And you know, adults say, "Oh, this is really deep," and it's like far out, man. But as little kids, you know, adults say it's really deep. You know, that's a common reaction. But the adults have gone away from consciousness to that political sphere. Okay? But small people, young people, they are still embracing consciousness. So they actually can very easily accept these complex concepts, like the 8 laws of anxiety. They know. You know, their minds operate at that level. And so I'm going to look into that. I think the Ministry of Education should look into that. Anyway, so I drove back. It was a 6-hour drive back. It's all up from it was 11 hours from driving onto the ferry till I got home. It was 11 hours. Yeah. And what a drive, man. So yeah, fabulous as, man. You know, I will say thank you. And I'm going to keep at this, man. And so anyway, that was my trip to Wellington. And I think in the coming days I'll probably take that pamphlet around Christchurch. Yeah, there's a few places around Christchurch, and tell the people about it, and for sure, man. And anyway, you have a good day, you hear?